and it's going to be a guy, the way that Iowa coaching staff, I say, develops their players mentally, physically. Mentally, he's going to be all together, be ready to go, and be ready for training and ready for these OTAs coming up, and then training camp in August.
I don't think there's any doubt that this kid, and let's just watch a little bit of him, AG. I don't think there's any doubt that this kid can produce at this level. And this is some tape I pulled off Block Party. So 6'5", 272, ran a 4.58. I got a couple clips here we'll just show just to point some things out, because he's got a lot of what you're looking for, but he's just, it's like there's a lot of work to do. And you think about like Aiden Hutchinson last year out of Michigan. He kind of comes in and, yeah, he's still going to get a lot better. The ceiling's higher than it is now, but the dude's coming in and producing day one,
right.
Tackles for loss, sacks, 2 interceptions against us, for God's sakes. But you look at right. Lucas Van Ness here, and I think something that it's interesting to hear different people talk about guys like this, because it's like, you're 6'6", 275. You got long arms. You have a wrestling background. I think you have a hockey background. You have great core strength. You're going to be man strong, right? We just call that man strong.
Right.
He's playing against the center right here. And so people are going, oh, yeah, you can slide him inside and you can do this and that. You can push the pocket. I'm like, guys, he's 275 pounds. Like, I don't care how strong you are. You're 275 playing against 320, 330-pound guards and centers. You're not pushing the pocket in the National Football League at 200.
He's doing that in college, not in the pros.
But that's, I guess my point is, like, it doesn't translate, man. This is ridiculous. But anyhow, they did move him around. He's got that Aaron Campman stance. You see him number 91 over the center here.
It's exactly when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's scary.
Yeah, man, it's too funny. You see, he gets locked up by this larger player, and again, I don't. We've talked about this before, bro. Like, a lot of guys want to create their narrative, and so they'll just cherry pick plays. Dude, I watched I just watched 3 series of this guy play against Ohio State, which is a very, very good football team. They
NFL caliber team players.
They have 2 NFL tackles, right? And we'll see him here playing against Paris Johnson Jr., who's the 6th pick in the draft for the Arizona Cardinals. I think he was probably taken too high, in my opinion. He's probably the 3rd best tackle in this draft. But or maybe 4th after the guy that I think we should have picked up at 14, who got picked up at 14, but that's another story. Lucas Van Ness, I think that's why people love him, though. Heavy-handed, long arms. You see the bull rush here, and he just goes right into it and pressures the pocket. And this translates. And this is of everything that you could say about a player. Does he understand the angles of rushing? Like, does he understand his angle of departure, right? Does he understand his confrontation angle? And is he good with a 2-hand bull rush on the upfield shoulder where he can kind of get a good lean into the guy? And he shows here that he can do that.
Yeah.
And so right there, it's like you've got something that a lot of guys don't have anymore because they don't want to play the power game. And that, to me, is just, again, I always look at this from a defensive lineman standpoint. I go, okay, am I scared of the guy or not? Right. Is there anything that he's doing that bothers me? And I don't know if he's at this stage strong, fast, experienced enough for that to be a definitive, this would bother a good player. But he at least is trying to think about things the right way. And for me, that's a big deal.
Yeah. For D linemen, edge rushers, the mindset is penetration. The mindset is, how do I get past him, the person in front of me, as fast as possible? And or push him back into the pocket to create a small pocket for the quarterback and the run game. And to have that mindset and understand that right away off the ball, as we saw there in that first play, the bull rush, then that's the basis of then developing other moves off of that he has. So he has that knowledge and expertise right now. So that's, as a coach, there's a room to grow him once he gets to our locker room and to my office.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the big thing you said there is he's got really, really good hands. He does. He plays with inside hands a lot. Now, awareness, football IQ, all of that kind of stuff, false stepping, it could be better.
The guys that we were watching,
Miles Murphy could play out of a 2-point. He's got kind of got unique bend. He's 6'5". These guys should be playing at 2-point. I'm talking about Wilson and Van Ness here. Dude, you're not just play out of a 3-point. And I know it's sexy to play out of a 2-point. It means you're an athlete. You don't have to put your hand in the ground. But leverage-wise, you're just going to get a lot more out of your body right now if you can play out of a 3-point more And you see AG, like I talked about him and Tyree Wilson kind of in the same vein, because a lot of these guys, when they play with their hand in the ground, they're a completely different player. And you pick this guy's hand up, and he's just not as explosive. He's
not as dynamic.
Not as dynamic. You see here, this is a play where he's got space between the guard and center. You see the safety coming down on the outside of the right.
Yeah, right behind him.
You know, so the left guard's clearly going to his right, our left on the screen, and he just puts his head down, tries to bury it in Paris Johnson's chest here. And these are just like football opportunities that we have to be a little bit more aware of, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of because of the space involved, and you have outside leverage help from 26 to safety.
Right. Because he has his head up, eyes up, that he could see where he can get his body into it and also fit into a run gap, and then the safety can just read his eyes or read his positioning and fit into another gap.
Exactly, and this really just comes down to very simply football IQ. Here's kind of another thought process, and this is why people love him. You see him over against the big fella. I forgot the name of the right tackle, but he's like 380 pounds. I mean, dude's a monster. I really like this guy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. But he's a big dude. Okay, but
human,
look at Ness spins him all the way around. I mean, this is the kind of long arm leverage power that guys get excited about, and rightfully so. I mean, you see this again, and dude spins around like a damn top.
And that's what you don't want as an O lineman. You don't want to be looking at your quarterback.
No, but what you like is when you're looking at traits, and this is kind of the whole conversation about a 13th pick of the draft.
Right.
When you're looking at traits, you go, oh man, there's some traits there. He plays with he's got leverage, especially when he's in the 3-point.
Mm-hmm.
He's got elite hand placement. He's not like good with his hands, but as far as like getting his hands on your chest, which is like the number one most important thing for a defensive lineman to do, he's better at it than most people are. He's got a good motor. He comes from a good school that's good at developing talent. I hope the kid turns into an all-pro, and there's no reason he won't. With the 13th pick in the draft, I was just a little bit. It was surprising to me. It was surprising because I thought, man, this guy would be a great late first rounder, second round pick.
Right.
Just given where he's at right now today, his ability to strike fear in the hearts of an offensive guard, an offensive tackle. I just don't know if it's there right now, but we'll wait and see. The Packers certainly spent a lot of time looking at that pick.
They saw something that made them pick him. Something they liked.
Well, potentials. Here's the thing about the draft. It's AG. This is the question, and we're not used to picking this high.
Right.